Okay, we want to call our May meeting to order. Thank y'all for allowing us to attend the middle school award ceremony. Now we're going to ask Ms. Taylor Dukes if she'd open us in prayer and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everyone, please bow their heads. Heavenly Father, we come here tonight asking for your guidance, support, and help as we begin this meeting. Thank you for all that you do as we serve our community and you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Dukes. Next, we have the consent items consisting of the agenda, minutes of the April 12, 2022 meeting, the rental of our facilities, and policies for revision, IDDF, special education, IHA, grading system, IHE, promotion and retention of students in grade K through 12, and JBC 4, awarding units of credit and acceptance of transfer credit and/or grades. Any questions or discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
Have a motion to accept the consent items?
Correct.
We have a second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Unanimous. Next up is public participation, and we have one to sign up for us tonight, Ricky Lee Pickney.
Greetings. Do I sit, stand here?
It's your call, sir. Make yourself comfortable.
Okay. I have 3 minutes.
Yes.
You all don't respond?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what I'm here to speak about is the graduation ceremony. Again, my name is Ricky Lee Pinkney, retired special operations guy. I live off of Leathersville Road. Today, I just want to bring up a couple of things, my interpretation of the policies, and see what we can do in regards to mass participation or the alternative school students. As follows, Lincoln County Handbook gets its guidance from the official code of Georgia annotated O.C.G.A. From my understanding, I have not seen where in the OCGA it states alternative students, the graduate, the scholar, should not participate in a high school graduation ceremony. I hate the stigma of alternative student. You start to think of things like the Mayhem commercials. I do see that the LC handbook speaks about after school events. Anyone with a prudent mind and general thinking would not associate after school event with high school graduation ceremony. After school event would be a game, academic competition, training, but not a prestigious ceremony that is only held after school and curriculum is complete and finished. Allow me to quote the handbook, page 29, attendance at school events while suspended. Students assigned out of school suspension, long-term suspension, or expulsion from school may not attend or participate in any school functions on the day of the infraction or the days of suspension until the assigned suspension is complete. I would like to add, May 20th is the last day of school. Therefore, suspension is complete when student leaves school, from my understanding. Handbook continues. Students assigned out of school suspension, long-term suspension, or expulsion from school may not be on Lincoln County Board of Education property without the principal's permission. Clearly, the principal has given permission. They are serving in school or alternative school at the high school itself, which is on the Board of Education property. They have served their time for their infractions. Hopefully, we have done our job as parenting, educating, inspiring, and in these cases, rehabilitating the scholar. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our agenda are financials.
Hello, welcome to the May financials. This is May. We are 83.33% of the fiscal year complete. I'm presenting to you now the revenues. As you can see, we are above that threshold quite well, 87.51%. This is made up of the property taxes already at 100%, and as well as just other items that we've amended at the prior amended budget session. I will let y'all digest that for a bit. Okay, moving on to the expenditures. This looks really well. As you can see, we are all less than 83.33% on our percent of expended throughout the year. There are two instances that were above that, but that's because it was a one-time event where we already hit 100%. So over at the bottom, you can see that we are 80.02% out of the 83.33%. So doing quite well. Okay. Cash and investments, we have 3.788 on hand, and our fund equity is 2.768, which is around what we plan at this time of year. And then last up is just our ending balance fund equity. Okay, my favorite report that I ever present is the SPLOST collections proceeds. You can see here that we have $85,000 in April, so that's quite great. It's the best we've ever had. So we'll see if we continue that trend. We hope so. In comparison, it was $72,000 last year and $77,000 in the prior month. So we're on a trend upward, which is awesome.
Very good.
Okay, moving to our SPLOST summary. Okay, our balance in our SPLOST account is $196,000. You know, we made our big bond payments last month, so this is where we're expecting to be. Our goal is to pay off this SPLOST first before we pay off our bond ad valorem. So if you go down to that, you see a balance there of $576,000, leaving us with a total of $773,000, which definitely covers our October 1st payment, and we're just building towards that April 1st payment of next year. So feeling good about that. Moving on to capital projects. Not much has happened since our last meeting. A little bit of material items came in for the concession stand. But overall, we have $11,364.72 remaining in that fund. So we'll kind of figure out by June 30th where we stand with that, whether we can save that or if there's going to be more materials to be spent. Okay, general fund. Here's our monthly year-to-date. Basically what I've already presented as far as revenues go. And then you can see with just a breakout by the function code. If you look at your outstanding purchase orders, we still have that $102,000 for the bus. We do have the bus, but we have an invoice for it yet. So hopefully we'll see that move over soon. Onto the special revenues funds. $403,000 was spent this month. Year to date, $2,971. So we have 62.66% of our budget. Moving on to expenditures. I think the biggest items to note are the outstanding purchase orders of $82,000 in instruction, and then as well as that $17,000 in facilities. So the $82,000 is a part of our ESSER cloud cameras, which are in budget and planned. And then we also have pod rentals for the elementary school, that's $17,303. So we have those outstanding purchase orders. Capital Projects Fund, basically what I already showed y'all, just a few monthly expenditures this month. But overall, we're still pretty good with that concession stand project. Okay, Debt Service Fund had $129,000 come in revenue. No expenditures this month because our big ticket item happened last month. So we are good there, almost at our 100%. Probably have a few more dues and fees by the end of the year, but we are at budget there. Any questions?
That's $17,000, all that for pods, that's a lot of pods.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it is,
It's the whole school.
the whole school.
Yes, sir. Every classroom, every closet, everything that has any foreign will have to be stored somewhere. We can't store it in the halls because of the equipment they will be using. So we have 3 pods for every wing, and then one on the back side. Because we've got to take every book out of the media center, every cabinet out of the media center. It's a lot. Huge undertaking, but we're gonna do it.
Now, when you say we gonna do it, the maintenance staff is gonna do that?
And, well, the teachers are packing it all up, and then they will move it into the pods. We're putting it on pallets, so they can use the pallet jack and roll it in there.
Wow.
And keep it all together for the teacher, so that when they come back, they can just roll their pallet in their room and unload it.
You won't have to worry about that, though, will you?
I will, I don't have to. I'm gonna be over there helping someone.
There you go.
Unofficial.
Any other discussion on what Ms. Dukes has presented? All right.
She did a
Talked
good job.
about
She did a good job.
Financials. We're gonna go into next year's budget.
Hi, it's me again. Okay. This is our fiscal year 23 budget discussion as of May 10th, 2022. So we have the additions and deletions to the general fund budget from fiscal year 2022, the amended. So as you can see, our first big ticket item is this 1.4 of increase in QBE earnings. I'll let y'all digest that number real quick. If you have any questions as to where that came from, let me know. Oh, yes. By the way, this is all estimated because we have not had the QBE allotment sheet presented yet. It's going to be approved at the state board meeting, which I think is Thursday. So hopefully we have everything on Friday and can give you a better number. But this is a very educated guess.
Was that, both of y'all did that together?
So it's a very, very educated guess.
But like you talked about, Mr. Arthur not really worried about it.
Yeah.
Ms. Buffer doesn't have to worry about it.
Man, what is going on there?
Right. I'm like Miss Arthur now, I'm still worried about it. May not be here, but I'm still worried.
So that is the estimated increase we will receive.
Yes, it is.
Per QBE, yes, sir. Why is that?
Wow,
More
that is
students?
a great question. Yes. Well, we do have a few more students, but that's really not the exact reason. We had a increase in our equalization portion of it by $770,000. That's a ranking. I actually don't know the formula to that, but the state ranks people and they get certain funds allotted to them, and we have 1.04 coming our way, and we had last year 277,000. So that's a big portion of it. The other one is our local 5 share. So it is increasing by 300,000. Well, it's decreasing, which makes us increase by 300,000. And then we also received QBE earnings for that $2,000 expected salary scale increase. So that's within that number. So about 352,000 for QBE earnings, which is about 200K or more for that
Is
salary increase.
Is that broke out in here, or is that all part of that?
It's
Well, it comes
all-
out later
Yeah.
down too, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, but that's that 1.4 flat amount. Next up is increase in property taxes of 46,775. This is just kind of our methodology that we use. We take last year's digest and multiply it by 96% to get what our budgeted revenue is for that. So it's an increase of 46,000. Next up, we have a decrease in TABT by 100,000. And then next up, we have no, I'm just kidding. So that 100,000 was, we actually amended the budget a little bit too high. We were a little bit too aggressive because we had a few monthly checks come in at a higher amount, but that did not come to fruition for March and April. So we're just going to assume this flatter rate going forward and just assume that instead of taking it all up front. So we did increase it at the amended budget though by like 200,000. So you're just now seeing 100 of it coming back out. So it still is an increase from the prior year, in a nutshell. So next up, we have 82,100. This was the sale of the old coaches building, so that will not be happening again. Next up, you see these 2 zeros. These are just placeholders. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but an increase in bus bond revenue, as well as Head Start revenue, if that is approved. Moving on to impact aid, we've taken that out. And this is just something that, this is how we budget, because you don't know if you're ever really going to get it. In the past, we've gotten it or not gotten it, so we just want to be kind of not too aggressive in thinking we'll achieve that. Okay, next up, we're removing our CERT one-time salary payment of $1,000 that was approved. So that we're just assuming that's not happening next year. And also removing the one-time salary supplement of $2,000 that we paid FICA out of the general fund. You'll see next up we have ESSER salaries and benefits. This grant ended, so what we were paying without the special revenues fund, we are now having to absorb that into the general fund because it's no longer a part of that grant money. So it's fine arts teachers and SPED.
Thank you.
Those are the,
One of the other names is CARES. I mean, we were.
that was the 3 teachers or whatever.
3.75, yes, sir.
Okay, and we didn't know if we were gonna be able to continue that position, is that right?
No, those positions we will continue and want to continue. I think the ones you're thinking of is the instructional specialist.
That's it, sorry.
No problem.
Yeah,
Good question.
And those are still being funded for this next year.
okay.
Okay, up next, we adjusted the salary scales to that minimum $10 an hour minimum. So this is the other half of the year since we started January 1st of last year. So this is kind of just continuing on for this next year. Also, and this is what I think you were referencing, we're adjusting the certified salary scales 2,000. So that 256 that we're going up in expenditures, it's covered by that QBE, so that also went up. So you're just seeing that offset. Next up, we have our increase by 1 year experience, so just increasing that level. Increase board per diem from $50 a meeting to $200, around $16,000. We are adjusting the TRS to the new amount of 19.98, so $11,000 there. And then the certificate upgrades, not a lot this year, but still want to note that since that could be big another year. Employee replacements, we are actually showing some favorability of $71,000. These next 4 are placeholders that add bus bond. If we do get that grant of revenue, this will be the expenditure that kind of offsets that. Adjust grants to actuals. Our grants aren't really approved till July, so we're gonna hopefully get those in and then have an amended budget for that. Adjust transfers to capital projects. Currently, we're holding to that $50K, so y'all can let us know if we have anything to increase it or decrease it, but we're staying flat. And then the other part to the Head Start is the expenditures that will offset the revenue. And then these pavement and the campus repairs, we're taking that out. It happened this year. Don't expect it to be at this full level next year. And then we also just had our department head adjustments of $80,000. So estimated fund balance at the end of the year is 1.7. Estimated adjustments to the fund balance was 275. And then that is our budget discussion. Are there any questions?
Do you have the actual total dollar amount that both for the revenue and for the expenses that budget would be?
Broken out by revenue and expenditures?
Well, I mean, just the final number, I mean, just to kind of, I mean, I like, just to compare it to what we were at this year. I mean,
Well, our budget this year was 12.5 net. I don't think I have it though, of revenues and
We can
expenditures.
get it for you.
We can get it.
I mean, I didn't know if you had that paperwork there on it, so.
I do not, but I can make sure I have that for you.
We are still working on it, so it's not a final figure at this point.
As, looking at this, being 200, right now, we're excessive revenue, well, had 22 was 1 million, and right now for 23, we're at 275. That's like the lowest difference I've seen since I've been here, I think.
We're not through yet, so.
It's called a
Estimates
QBE,
in
they call it
The austerity fund, I mean, all
Yeah.
the different things that we're getting back, so, that we haven't had in years, so.
that. So is this the same thing with the 15% number, is that, we talking about the same
It'll
thing?
roll back to the final of being the 15%, yes. That's part of what that they will present. In fact, you were talking about 11 just a couple of days ago. We were close to 11%. After it goes over 15, then they start telling us
It's
to watch
too
what we're
high.
doing. Right.
So is it probably was 11, but it's gonna be more than that now, is that right? A lot more.
Right now at this
Talking
moment.
about what it was at the end of last year?
No, no, what it's gonna be, it's projected
Oh,
this
at the end of
year.
this year,
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot, it looks
It,
like.
it won't be a lot, but it'll,
Well,
It's
we're
gonna be more
projecting the 2
15%.
million at the end of this year.
so if it's a
That's
2
what that
million.
estimate is.
yeah.
We're in much better shape than if it was upside down.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
No, it's great. It's a great problem to have,
It's
and we're
saying we
thankful.
gotta spend more money, and I
I
don't
mean,
like that.
we're close to it, I mean, 14% is, 14 million is what our
Yeah, well,
expenditures.
the general fund's around 12 and a half, so that's what you have to match with
Okay.
the fund
So-
balance.
yeah,
It's
so that-
15 to 20%, 10 to 15%. You don't want to go below 10.
We're not up to you.
We have been.
Yeah, we definitely have, so we don't want to, though.
We got a new sheriff in town, you hear that, don't you?
We do?
Yeah, you. I'm just trying to get that number in my mind, you know? So, anyway,
If you go over it, let them slap your hand. Don't worry
yeah,
about it.
yeah, we don't wanna take any money from them, so.
Any questions from anyone on next year's budget? So we have to have one more meeting
That's correct.
on this
Get my calendar out.
before the June meeting, to give the public an opportunity to express.
2
This will
weeks
be,
prior.
this
Have to
will
wait.
be in the Journal Messenger.
And then we can put it on that Friday.
Right. Say that again, 2 weeks.
2 weeks from this board meeting.
That's
we
correct.
Have it so that we can get it into the paper by Friday.
Right.
For the next meeting.
2 weeks from tonight would be the 24th, which is next Tuesday. So we would be looking at trying to have an additional budget hearing the 25th to, say, the 31st or 1st. Is that cutting it too close?
That's fine.
It
But-
just has to be, it has to be on our website 2 weeks prior to the next board meeting,
Right,
so whatever date that is.
which would
So
be
it
the
would
14th.
31st, so would be the last possible day. I mean, the ideal week would be the week of the 23rd, I mean, like the 24th, 25th, 26th.
Correct.
Yeah.
I am
That could
out of
be
town that
any-
week,
any
but
time of
but
day.
I don't have to be here for that, so.
Is it a daytime or is this a
It
night?
can be whatever
It
you
can
want.
be either one, whatever the board
We
decides.
did it during the day.
We have, for the second one, yes, sir, very, very commonly. We would have to have a quorum. If you're
Yeah, as long
absent,
as,
we would
as
still
long
have
as
to
at
have a
least three.
quorum. Is there a date that works better for everybody?
I prefer morning.
Okay. Ms. D,
But
is
I can do
there,
anytime. I can do anytime. It don't matter to me.
I can do anything except for the 25th.
you cannot be here the 25th.
Won't you plan it for the 26th? I mean, if
Fine.
if my work was completed early, I could possibly be back by that day, but that'd be the earliest I could be back on there, so.
Okay.
But I think as long as the rest of you can be here on the 26th.
What day is that?
That's a
Thursday.
Thursday, sir.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Thursday, mid-morning. What do we do?
I'm thinking 9 or 10, whatever works for y'all.
Call.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock on the 26th. You're gonna be coming in on 2 wheels, right? Okay.
Okay, next we have elementary school classroom flooring.
We had a mandatory pre-bid meeting that was conducted on the 29th. Now, understand, based on this cost, that it was put on the procurement website so that the entire state that is interested in flooring could see the opportunity to bid. We did do a pre-bid mandatory meeting so that we could walk any of those folks through that may not have been in our school district before, and we do that pretty commonly. The notifications all went out, excuse me, got everything back on April 22nd. By 2 p.m., we received the bids, and you can see the bids in front of you. Granger Contracting and Services was the lowest at $140,000 even. They did tell me on the phone that they work with the same abatement company quite consistently, and that abatement company had received a $20,000 discount and passed it on to Granger, so Granger passed it on to us, which is why it's lower than everybody else by quite a bit. The next two you're familiar with, which is Thompson Carpet and Lively Flooring at 164 and 176. And then Mid-Atlantic was also a new one to us at 486, but I really don't think that they're a discussion item at this point. But Granger, we did the background checks after we received all of the bids. Everything checked out in a very positive way. Granger has done a number of school district pieces in central Georgia. Not as much out here close to Augusta, but they're trying to expand. So they have submitted a bid of $140,000, and of course, I would recommend we accept the smallest bid, which is $140,000, to complete all of the classroom tiling jobs in the elementary school, which was the reason for the pot. Did you see what you were looking for? Mr. Heitman had a question earlier this evening in regards to references. And I provided what I had in the notes that were taken, so.
So, I just had, my feeling is that I don't know anything about them. And I looked on the website, and they don't have a website. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but I don't even know if my company has a website. I think we do, but it's not up to date. But I'm right here. You can grab a hold of me if you need me. I did find out that he seems to be it's a one-person company from what I can get on the internet. And the situation we're in right now with no maintenance supervisor, superintendent, I don't know if we want to deal with somebody we don't know anything about. That's just my personal thoughts on it. But, that's $24,000 difference, so.
That's where I was at Thompson and Lively. We've both done work with, and we're very happy with them. But $24,000 is a whole lot of money, in my opinion.
Yeah, here's the paperwork that Dr. Light gave me just a few minutes ago. I really can't tell anything more about it if you want to look at it, but
So
they are.
what references did you contact? Was it schools or?
I contacted what was provided and talked to them personally, and they had talked about a couple of schools that they had worked with in Macon and in Collar counties, Cobb County. So they're very familiar with the requirements of the federal the federal mandates and the state mandates when dealing with school districts, and they're trying to expand this way.
Dr. Go, can you pull them up on the computer right now? Is that possible? That's something we can ask for?
Let's see. If you didn't find it, I don't know that it would be.
I mean, I couldn't find it. The only thing I found was,
There it is. Granger Contracting and Services.
well, it's not their website though. That's just government contracts, one.com.
I just saw the thing on the right-hand side that he had pulled up. I thought it was.
Yeah, it doesn't have
right there.
websites. See, it says add
Okay.
website over there or something down there. See, add missing information, add website. I don't know, I couldn't find them. I just got a red flag, that's all. I got a little.
The 20,000, tell again, what's the 20,000?
20.
Because if they added 20,000, they would be right in the ballpark with
Correct.
everybody else.
But I was told by Daniel, who was our contact person, that the abatement, you have to abate some of the tile that's over there because some of the tile has asbestos in it.
All right.
So that abatement company had a $20,000 reduction in the cost of abating it when they brought them the contract. So they passed that savings on to us. So that was why he says $20,000 difference.
The company's 6 years old, based on their Secretary of State knowledge.
Yeah.
What was the time of completion for this contract? Just curious.
They're supposed to complete it before school starts because they're gonna start on the 27th. So it would be, I have to look at a calendar. Hold
Well,
on.
I just know we always start right at the beginning of August.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, they've basically got 2 months.
2 months.
Mhm.
Big job. Yeah, pretty big job.
And then to get all the stuff back in to be ready.
Who did the other
It would
one?
be, their last day of possible work would be
Thompson.
22 or 25 of July.
I think Thompson did the last.
Either 22 or 25 of July
Okay.
would be
That's
their
fine.
last day. of work.
I'm just
Thompson did the
curious.
halls,
Sure.
right?
And
Thompson
COVID
did the
money.
halls? The Thompson,
Yes.
they did the hallways, right?
Isn't this, is this
Lively did
ESSER or
the cafeteria.
CARES money?
This would be ESSER money.
Yes.
And what do we allot? How much do we allot for this? We kind of have a number, do we know?
Don't know what the budget number was off the top of my head.
Because we had put a figure on that,
We
kind of
did.
sort of, didn't we?
And some of what you're seeing here that it's so low, to be honest, is we have already purchased the tile. So this is just the abatement and the adhesion of the tile. Because we already own the tile. We didn't want to have two different lots of the color, so that it wouldn't look right if the two different lots were made at different times. So we bought it all at one time.
And Lively's put out the other. the
Lively put down the cafeteria, and I believe Thompson did all of the
Oh,
hallways.
Yeah.
Did it look good?
Thompson
Everything
did
look
the
good?
hallways, they did the, Lively did the cafeteria,
Right,
and then, one of the workrooms.
right. The teacher workroom over there on that, is that
Yes,
fifth
sir,
grade hall?
and then another company did the other one.
Is there any difference in the workmanship of Thompson,
They,
Carpet, and Lively's?
I mean, they're all, the hallways are holding up well. The cafeteria, we have a couple tiles that are, like, kind of turning up, but when we call them, they came out, looked at it, and took care of it. In the gym, in one of the restrooms, Thompson, we had to call them too, so we've called Lively and Thompson both times, and they came.
That's what would concern me about using somebody that far off is
Me as well.
you're not going,
And this is a
you're not
one-man
gonna call and
show.
have them back next week.
He's one person. He uses subs, which, I mean, I use subs.
I think it's a good thing that we already have the tile in place, so we don't run into the problem that we had last year with the hall, where we didn't have enough tile. We were thinking we were gonna have to start school with partial hallways. So we wanted to go ahead, and I think that was a good thought on Dr. Light and
That's very
Mr. Laura's
good.
behalf of getting it here before we even start.
Can y'all,
Yep.
can you look at it, give it the CARES thing, and let us know what we kind of figured for this?
You want to do it now?
Like, who we
Yeah,
are
if you could.
Well, my biggest thing would be if we let them do it and we have some problems. Thompson Carpet or Lively is not gonna want us to call them to come over here and fix.
No.
Well, when we call them, though, they're here. At least they have been in the past. They've always been quick to respond.
You're talking
But
about
they
Thompson
did-
Carpet.
Thompson and
Yeah,
Lively,
they,
yes, sir.
yeah, but they did work.
Yeah, they've
I'm
been
just
here.
saying, if we give it to this crowd out of town,
Well,
that's the only thing that would bother me about it.
I would hope they would do the same, but I don't know them as well as the other two.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just looking at $24,000.
Do we put a warranty, does the bid have a warranty aspect of it?
I think there's a 3%. It was on the, do you have the,
Yeah, you know, yeah.
3% what?
I think there was a 3% warranty on the, it was written on the outside.
What is that?
Yes. 3% big bond.
So that, we would hold that,
Yes.
but for how long?
I have to read this and find that number. I don't know.
So we don't have a standard warranty type deal, something like this?
Normally it's a year, but I don't want to just say that because it will be that year.
I do have another question about the abatement.
Okay?
Go ahead.
They have to provide documentation about disposal of abatement, right? I can't understand how they do it for $20,000 to dispose.
Well, again, that was, they passed on the savings to us, is
Yeah.
what I was told, because I asked that question. I think that would be a
Dig a
reasonable
hole in
question.
the end of the county and dump it in there.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope not. Anyway.
I didn't know if that was part of our bids that we required that. I mean, I think that we did.
Don't say it's a year, but
Dr. Mike, did you check with references? You said you did check with the references?
I did some and Pat did some, and they were very positive. And I wouldn't expect them to put a bad reference on here.
That's what I was about to say.
No,
Nobody's
they
gonna do
definitely
I
that.
just wouldn't expect that, so,
Either.
you know, no different than when you're looking at a resume. It helps if you know the industry and you know who to call, and
Okay. Mike,
We have 250,000 in budget, not including the tiles which we've already expended.
so 250 for installation. What?
So that's, and you said not including the tiles, is that correct?
Not, we've already had the tiles.
Yes,
not
already have.
included.
You gotta put the pods in there.
Pods are somewhere in
In
this.
there.
That's probably part of that, yeah.
Those 17,000.
Yeah.
And the extra help too.
Yeah,
I mean, we gotta
Yeah.
hire some people to help us.
yeah.
Just what.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Height,
Yes.
who would be your suggestion, and are they on the list, or are you referring to your company, or,
Oh, no, he's not doing that.
so,
Trust me, no.
who would you go with? I haven't heard your
Who would I
option.
go with?
Yes,
I would not go with the first one, I can tell you that, because I don't know anything about them. I can't get them online. They're a one-person company and woman-owned, and it's a man running it. So I don't know how to explain that, other than, that's the information I got off the internet. It says woman-owned on there somewhere, on one of them I saw.
Is
So-
it woman-owned?
So,
Yeah, I mean,
so
which
it's
is
set up,
51%, but
so
it
it's
has
set
one
up
employee, it has one employee that's a man.
that you can tell.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just, I would prefer somebody that's more local
But you know,
That's what he's talking about.
that I can call, but anyway, I'm just one vote.
Now, this, it doesn't say that, it says it's small business. It doesn't say it's in one,
What's the circle?
it's small business.
Look on the next page. I saw that, I think I saw it on the internet whenever I was looking on one of the government
No,
places.
they only selected the small business.
Okay.
They didn't select a minority or a woman-owned business.
Well, it's,
If, that was the option, but it wasn't, that's not the one they selected.
okay.
So,
It said somewhere on the internet. that's
well,
what it was.
I mean, we
Anyway,
need to make a decision because it definitely needs to get started right away, as soon
Definitely.
as school's over. So, not that we need to spend everything we have in the CARES, because, I mean, what's not spent here can go towards other things. But we do have that luxury this time.
I would have to agree with Mr. Hyden a little bit. I mean, I think Dr. Light was definitely looking in the best benefit with the difference. But as we've heard from our principal from the elementary school, you're bound to have a problem when you're doing that size of job. That's definitely could be an issue. The return time that when she called to get this fixed, to be ready to go, as Dr. Light said, it'll be completed around the 22nd to 25th of July, which is a week and a half before we start school. If they start moving stuff back in with pallets, were to have an issue, I think our better recovery of getting everything fixed would be with Thompson or Lively's. That would be my suggestion. The lesser of those was Thompson Carpet by $12,000. So I would have to agree with them. Not that we wasn't looking in the right direction, but with the situation that we're under with the CARES money, I think we should go with one of the other two, would be a suggestion of mine.
All right? You wanna make a-
I'm not in agreement with that. I think with that we should be looking at savings. And we don't know anything bad about this company, other than saying you can't find them on the email. But we've had references and we can check around just to see if there's any more,
We can call him.
information
Tell him
about
we meet
this.
with him.
right. I think we need to give
We
them an opportunity.
met with him.
You have.
Yeah, he was here for the pre-bid, and I spent time with him that day, and then I've talked to him on the phone twice since. So I have talked to him personally and met with him and shook his hand personally.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean any different than, talking to,
Right.
the only reason we know Lively is they're here,
Right.
and Thompson has worked for us, and Lively has worked for us. That's why we're comfortable with that.
Right.
Granger may be great, but we don't know them yet.
Right. That's right.
And when did they tell you they'd be completed with the job?
Trying to finish it by the 22nd or the 25th of July.
Because that was part of the bid
Right.
requirements.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, well, we have three in front of us that, are viable. So we need to make a decision that, I don't know that we're gonna find out much more information, to wait. So, need a recommendation.
I recommend we go with Thompson Carpet for the 164,580.
Okay. We have a motion to go with Thompson Carpet. Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right. All in favor of Thompson Carpet at $164,580? Raise your hand. Okay. All opposed? At Thompson Carpet, we'll be doing our floors.
Call them tomorrow.
If I may ask a question,
Mr. Pinckney, this is a meeting open to the public, but it's not, other than our public
Sure.
participation.
Sure, sure.
It's not
Okay.
regular for
Gotcha.
comment,
Understood.
so, thanks. Next on the agenda, Head Start in Lincoln County.
Yes, sir. I was asked to bring this back to the board for a vote. As you see on the second sheet, I received on the 25th of April a financial commitment of assistance for $30,000 for fund to repair and renovations for Head Start to be over at the old high school. And again, they'll be on the right-hand side of the old high school. And I think 30,000 is a real good start for us looking at the finances. We're gonna have to adjust some commodes over there to get them down to that legal size for the little bitty ones. We're gonna have to make some adjustments in air conditioning and those kind of things, but 30,000 is a very good number to start with. I also understand that they'll be using utilities, and it's my recommendation that we charge them $600 a month for utilities for their side. They're gonna be there every day. They're gonna be there using water and electricity with air conditioning and eventually heat. I think $600 a month is a very reasonable number. If you look down there at the bottom or page number 3, you can see the electric bill for that campus for the high school. You can see that for 2021, 21, 22. If you look at $600 a month for them, don't forget we have the recommendation that is going to be talked about in the superintendent's report for the mental health classroom that would be over there through the church, and they're looking at an additional $100 a month. So with those two combined, I think that helps us greatly with utilities, and I recommend that we would charge them $600 a month on top of the $30,000 to help us with facilities to start Head Start in Lincoln County.
Have we priced, do we have to put, I'm sure we will have to put some type of recreational equipment
The
over
equipment,
there? Or how does that
their
go
equipment
about?
they're bringing with them,
Okay, I
but
didn't
the
know.
fencing we have to put in to keep them out of the road, just like the fencing that's right
Correct,
down here.
okay.
So we have to put up fencing around there as well.
And they are gonna remove the old building?
Yes,
That's
that's part of the
this
deal.
still
They
tied
have to
in?
remove the old building, yes, sir. The old,
That was just
the
two
old
questions I had.
double wide that's over there.
That's correct,
There's one of the
yes.
buildings they took out, but the other one's gotta go as
And
well.
there's an old playset over there too.
The
isn't it?
place that, I
Is
don't
it
know that
okay?
they're gonna take, but we
Okay.
can ask them to if we
Well, I mean, if
want.
it's- if
But
it's
I know that Miss Arthur's group does play on it.
The playset that's in the fenced-in area,
Okay.
which actually belongs to them,
Okay.
is the one that our special needs self-contained class uses. And this actually in good shape, a lot better shape than
Okay.
some of it over there, so it's good.
Okay. That was two questions I had.
Good questions.
But the 30,000 will be close on getting the building ready? You don't
Yes, sir.
think we'll-
Yes, sir.
That's fine.
I think that'll be real close. In fact, I hope we don't go up to that.
Okay.
Glad to have them coming back.
Very good. We appreciate your work on this.
We've been working on this a while. It's
Yeah, we have.
that's a hard one to get them back.
Thank you and Jason.
We also want to thank Jody Heiss's input too. So we got him involved and made a big difference. So
Yes.
very thankful to get them back. We need them. Our children need them.
All right, we need to vote on this.
Yes, sir. For the amount of $600 per month is what we would need to vote on, that we would agree to that.
I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of charging them $600 per month for utilities to bring back Head Start into the old high school building beginning fiscal year '23.
Second.
Second, Ms. Barksdale, all in favor?
Thank you all. Okay, we're gonna drop down to student handbook changes. Ms. Arthur, we're gonna pick on you first.
Go for it.
Handbook changes for the 22-23 school year. Dismissal, and Ms. Arthur, don't be shy, and I know you're not, jump in here at any point. Car riders at 250, you can see those changes of dismissal. Those will be a little bit different for next year. You can see, obviously, we're aware of change in principal and assistant principal. We talked about that last month. Classroom arrangements, pre-K, kindergarten, first and second are self-contained. Third through fifth will be 2 heterogeneous blocks. Meal costs, and I'm going to talk about that in superintendent's report later. The meal costs we're gonna list because I think everybody remembers, but for the past 2 years, the agricultural department at the federal level has paid for the state of Georgia students to eat free for the past 2 years. This year, that's not gonna happen, this coming year for FY '23. They said that they are not gonna fund that at this point. Now, there's been a whole lot of people that have badgered them to continue this. At this point, they have not continued that. So with that being said, we want to publish what the cost of our meals are. These are not any different than they were prior to, but I don't want moms and dads walking in the first morning thinking they're going to continue to eat free. So I'm going to continue to talk about the cost of lunch meals and free and reduced lunch. We're going back to the original pricing. It's not going up, but I don't want moms and dads totally confused on the first day in July or August. So meal costs are going to be in the handbook. The adult meal costs are there as well. Medicines will be brought directly to the nurse instead of the front office. If students have asthma, diabetes, or seizures, please alert the school administration or nurse to create a medical plan. And then the grading scale and promotion policy we just approved, so we're good there. Anything you want to add, young lady?
The only thing is, the difference in the meals is between, I think it's $2.15 for elementary students and it's $2.40 at
For high
middle
school
and high.
and middle school, yes, but those are on the next one, so.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
Just didn't want them to think it was.
It's the
all in
portion
cost.
size that's different there.
It is.
So we're changing the dismissal, is that moving?
We're trying to keep the kids from sitting on the bus from 2:40 to 3:05, because that's, 25 minutes, and then they get here, and then they have to wait another 10 minutes or so. So they're sitting on the bus over in a half hour, and that's when a lot of discipline occurs. So we're gonna try to, during COVID, we released each grade by itself, so they could space out and wouldn't be all piled on top of each other. We could make sure they had their mask on before they got on the bus, because that was mandatory. But now that we're not under that, we can dismiss a grade like kindergarten will come out one end of the building, and that first grade will go out the other. We can dismiss them at the same time and just keep them later in the class working and dismiss them a little later. So that's why we want to change that. And Ms. Goldman has said she's going to change the car rider line as well, to make it first come, first serve. She's not going to do different grades in the afternoon the way it is now. So whoever's there first will go. So that's our plan, to try to get those 250 cars out of there as quick as we can.
Interesting.
That's just a lot of them. And they start coming at 1:45.
And first and second swap before, and they're not now? Or no, they were always?
No, kindergarten and first grade were self-contained.
Right.
Second grade, they
Swap.
had blocks, yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that's
And
what.
they swapped, but she wants them to be self-contained as well. And she's talked to the teachers, some of the teachers wanted it, so.
I just want to know which ones were changing, that's what.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Just
you.
second grade is the only one
All right,
that's changing.
thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Ms. Burt, we're gonna pick on you next. Looking at deleting from the handbook the personal illness definition, adding to the handbook, students who were absent from school for excused reasons may have up to a maximum of 5 days absent per semester excused by providing a written excuse stating the reason for the absence, signed by a parent or guardian. Additional written parent excuses beyond 5 will be marked as an unexcused absence. Any absence beyond 5 per semester must be accompanied by medical documentation from a healthcare provider in order to have the absence violated as excused. And I know everybody can read that. Moving down to the second page, looking at tardies and consequences for those. First and second tardies, no consequences. Third is 1 morning detention, fourth, and so on. Then at the very bottom, you also want to add no biker shorts to your dress code. Anything you need to add there? Takes us over to the high school unless there was a question in the middle. Okay, Dr. Wolski, we're looking at athletic discipline procedures. You're adding guardian and/or their representative to consultation. And then A student athlete may appeal a decision of suspension for more than a week to the above convened committee, the executive committee. The heat index policy has changed a little bit, so we're adding a rest site and adding the cold immersion tubs. And then seniors can qualify for high achiever recognition to obtain a score of 1170 on the SAT or 26 on the ACT.
We had to go back on that because the SAT is now 1,600 points again versus 24.
Down on the bottom of the second page for withdrawal, it says when it becomes necessary for a student to withdraw from school, parent or guardian should notify the registrar or the counselor's office. The initial notification must be in person by the parent or guardian requesting permission to withdraw the student from school, and it should state the date and time the student will terminate attendance. Parent, school-sponsored events. And then towards the bottom, it identifies consequences. Anything you need to add there, sir?
No, sir.
Board would need to approve those changes.
Any questions on the changes? Okay, I make a motion that we approve the changes to the handbook as presented.
I'll second.
And a second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Unanimous.
Okay, we have a non-resident enrollment request. We have a family that has moved into its family property, but they're moving from Anderson. Lynn, is that one attached in here? It's not on mine. Is it on y'all's? Okay, good,
Yes.
good, all right. And I may have set it up and went into the wrong meetings, but anyway, the family, and it says on the second page, the information for mom and dad, they are moving into within, it's like 1,600 feet of the Lincoln County line, would still be considered non-resident, but they're in Georgia as opposed to Anderson, South Carolina. They're moving back here, they're actually live on the farm now, and they want their child to go to Lincoln County schools. Shared the information with Arthur, with Mrs. Arthur. The student will be in 4th grade next year, and Dr. Gumby was involved with the conversation as well, and it sounds like we're very willing to accept this student, and they want the child to go to summer school as well for summer reading program with us. So, and we have plenty of room in that program.
No tuition because they're in Georgia, right?
They're in Georgia, that's
Yeah.
correct. We would still get the FTE for that.
This is just one student, right?
That's correct. One student.
I make a motion to accept.
We have a motion to accept the out-of-district enrollment.
I'll second.
We have a second by Mr. Reese. All in favor?
Thank you. Okay. Next down, if I may, Mr. Chairman, is the superintendent's report.
Yes.
Okay, as a reminder, our delegate, Mr.
I thought it was, it's not.
And it's not saying like
No.
this.
You've accessorized.
On June 9th and the 10th, our board delegate will be at the delegate assembly, which is Mr. Reese, will be attending the delegate assembly. I hope to get information back from GSBA as soon as possible on their proposals and what they're expecting us to vote on. If necessary, I will bring those back on the 26th.
Yep.
26th. Hopefully we'll have them back. I still have nothing. Also, we have been very blessed as a board that our own Mrs. Barksdale was nominated and recommended, honored, however you would like to say it, by GSBA to serve on a governmental operations committee. The committee she was selected for actually had the first readings for those proposals, and I want you to talk about it because you were there. I just read about it. You were actually in service. Go ahead.
I was there, And I am honored that I was selected to serve on this board. After talking to Jason, he informed me that I think I'm the first person in Lincoln County that has been elected, or has been invited to serve on this committee. So I am honored to be on this, have been on this committee. But at this committee, I do have the information, but I cannot share it with you all. I may share it with you. But we had the opportunity to review the different legislative proposals and positions that were submitted by the board and the GSBA. And at this meeting, we actually reviewed 4 different sections. And the 4 different sections was on the governance of education, the state and local funding partnership, improving student achievement, and the federal issues. With this information, we had the opportunity to either support it, oppose it, or sustain. And there was different members from 180 Board of Educations at this particular meeting. And with the information that we voted on, we went down each section, like I said, and we discussed it. And this information is going to be presented at the Delegate Assembly meeting in June, and also at the Delegate Assembly meeting, the state superintendent and any other candidate that's running for office will be at that meeting for us to interview. So in addition to Kyle being there and getting the opportunity to vote at the business meeting on behalf of Lincoln County, I'll get the opportunity to be there, I'll get the opportunity to be there as well, representing Lincoln County, but in a different aspect. So I was very honored to be a part of this committee.
So they're gonna cover you to go to the June conference?
Yes.
That's great.
So that's why I was smiling. And Valerie Wilson is the executive director of the Georgia School Board Association, and she handpicked the people that she wanted to be a part of this organization.
So how many were there voting, not the GSBA, but actual board members were there that day?
That day, it was about 50 of us.
And the prior picture is Angela Palm, who is the representative for legal for GSBA.
Yes.
And goes to all of the legislative events and does a lot of legislative policy.
Yes.
There's a lot of emails there.
Yeah.
Well, that's smart lady though.
Yes.
We get a lot of information, that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you.
Great stuff. On our last board meeting was 4/12, and Mr. Heitman had asked me about the rural medical health care initiative that the churches are trying to put together. I received a document from that group on 4/19, so it was right after that you had asked, because I had said I hadn't heard anything yet.
Yeah.
So on 4/19, I received what he called a rough draft of their, and it's not very rough to me, it's pretty well done,
Yeah, really
but a
well
rough
done.
draft of the grant that he is writing. It is to be submitted by the 1st of May. If everything goes the way they have planned, their grand opening will be September 12th. So at this point, as we're talking about it, if all this falls into place, we'll be in real good shape. And they will be using the old high school, one classroom and that one, I guess, main front office to meet patients before they go in to see the doctor. And then they would exit out the GMC side. So it would be, as they say, the best scenario for them. So they're excited about it, and we are too. And I know Lincoln County needs some rural mental health counseling, so this would be a very strong benefit for the entire county.
Yes, thank you.
Both kitchens were evaluated by the health department. I think everybody knows during COVID it was all shut down. They didn't do any health inspections. Well, they just did the health inspections last week. Both kitchens again scored 100. So this is the 11th or 12th time in a row that they both scored 100. So congratulations to those ladies for making that happen for our kids. Again, I wanted to talk about the prices, school breakfast, school lunch meals. The prices will be the same as they were, but those prices are $1 for breakfast at both kitchens, $2.15 for lunch at the elementary school for students, and $2.40 for lunch at the middle and high. And that's based on the size or the portions of meals is why there's a price difference. Free and reduced lunch applications will be distributed as quickly as we can after July 1. You cannot distribute them before then or they won't count. We're trying to ask moms and dads to complete them and get them back as soon as possible. In the past, we've always had 30 days for the students to be on free and reduced lunch if they were the year before. So far, everybody at the conference for food service is being told that won't exist this year. It starts day one. I don't think that's fair to families, and there's been a lot of complaints to people that have a voting right to this decision, but at this point, they haven't told us any different. So we have to get our students ready. So day one is when they will either receive full price, or they'll have to have their free and reduced lunch forms in, and they'll have to be serviced as quickly as possible. So just trying to educate moms and dads on what to expect as we get close to a new school year. Events for the board to remember, May 15th, 2022, baccalaureate at 8 a.m. in the cafeteria.
7:45. Kids are supposed to be there.
Oh, the
Start.
students, yeah, okay,
start
okay,
everything.
starts at 8, all right. May 19th, Elementary Awards Day for K and First starts at 8:30. May 19th for Second, Third, and Fourth starts at 9:30. And moms and dads are very welcome to attend. May 20th, Elementary Awards for 5th grade only. That's the kids that are already going on 17, right? All the 5th graders. And then, of course, the last day of school is May 20th, and graduation will begin at 8 o'clock. So, board members, of course, you'll be on the field and we'll be ready to go. And before they leave tonight, I would love to talk to Mr. Heitman and Mrs. Barksdale in regards to graduation things.
Can I make a request?
Sure.
Can we get like umbrellas or tent over us, our section?
With air
Or
conditioning?
fan, yeah, air conditioning, that'd be good.
It's one of those 70s hats with the umbrella on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be in the 90s is the extended forecast right now.
Oh,
for
boy,
the
that's
20.
real good. Sun be right in our face.
I need a motion to go into executive session. Motion by Mr. Madison, second by Mr. Reese. I want to call our meeting back to order. The superintendent has recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Ms. LaToya Singleton for the food service director position effective July 1st, 2022.
So,
Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Unanimous. The superintendent has recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Ms. Jeannie Thornton to the position of special education teacher. This is at the elementary school?
Yes, sir.
At the elementary school for next year. We have a second by Mr. Reese. All in favor? Unanimous. Superintendent is recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Mr. Dwayne Myanga as a custodian at the high school for next year.
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Barksdale. All in favor?
Kids probably just want to call him Mr. H.
Hopefully you can start as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as possible for.
Yes, we're hoping Ms. Freeman gets on that call tomorrow morning and gets everything rolling.
Yes.
And my other custodians are really waiting on that too.
Superintendent is recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Ms. Angela Brown as a kindergarten parapro for 22-23 school year.
Second. Uh-oh.
Second by Mr. Heitman. All in favor? Unanimous. Superintendent has recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Ms. Carrie Grant as a special education parapro for the elementary school. Second by Mr. Heitman.
Yeah.
All in favor? Unanimous. Anything else?
There's a motion to adjourn.
Motion, second by Mr. Heitman. Thank you.